The purpose of the meeting is to update you what's going on ICMCI side, and especially with regards to our board meeting. We had well, more or less 2 weeks ago. It was we do that once a year, having a face-to-face board meeting, and we discussing our strategic approach. We are discussing our strategy, and we want just to adapt and realign, if necessary, the strategy or everything we do to check if this is still in line with the strategy. So we did this year. We were 2, 3, 4, 5 of the participants today have been being part of the meeting. So if there are some background information I am forgetting and I don't mention, please just Cesara is joining. Hello, Cesara.
Hello, Robert. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I was just introducing and starting the meeting, so you did not lose too much. So let me, in a nutshell, report what we discussed and what the outcome of the meeting of the board was almost 2 weeks ago. And then I would like to discuss it with you and get your thoughts about that. And yeah, let's keep it as open as possible. Just to set the scene, it is we are always, the first part of this meeting is very, very brief. Are we still in line with the strategy and our strategy? You know this sentence, but I'd like to repeat it every time we meet again: to be the leader in the development of the management consulting as a global profession that drives social and economic success. We had 3 years ago, we had our first meeting that I have been chairing, and we defined these 3 pillars: ethics and standards, knowledge development and sharing, and representation. And along these 3 pillars, we discussed what do we need to do more and what are our activities that are along with this strategy. And in the last board meeting we had in Amman, that is 1 year ago, we were very much focusing on our aspiration to become more open and more agile. And as you remember, we presented the new hub policy in our annual conference, in our annual meeting in Amman. We presented the new path to CMC, and we presented the new ICMCI Services Inc. And we agreed to found this company that is our business entity within ICMCI, and the focus of the ICMCI Services Incorporated, which is placed in Delaware, is to approach consultants global, not specifically where we do have IMC members. Actually, we have 200 countries on this globe, and we have 50 countries where we have an IMC as a member. So we can approach consultants in 150 countries in theory, where we do not compete our own IMCs. That's very important. We are not competing the IMCs, we are supporting the IMCs. We want to win new members with the Services Inc. And if there is anything that can be supporting the IMCs with our Services Inc., we are happy to do so. And actually that is one of the main purposes of the Services Inc., to support existing IMCs. The new path to CMC, you might remember, that is about establishing this, we call it intermediate level. We don't have a proper naming for the time being, but as we have very good success in our UNIDO project, we are very happy to have this intermediate level, because this is exactly what our partner, the UNIDO, is asking for. And what we do now, we have agreed, and we are very, very close to sign the actual memorandum of understanding, that we will train and certify all consultants on the African continent where UNIDO is active, and we can support with management consulting services their developing programs, which makes us proud because I think this second part of the sentence that drives social and economic success, that is really very much supported by this UNIDO project, and it demonstrates how important this intermediate level is. Now, there are so many things going on, and so many different activities, the observer status, the new hubs, and so on, that we said in this year's meeting, we need to align, we need to have a common understanding how will ICMCI look like in 2030, in about 6 years. Everybody's talking about a vision or a strategy 2030. So we said, okay, why don't we do it in the same manner? And let's call it ICMCI Vision 2030. And that is very important if you're working in a team, and especially in an organization like ICMCI, that everybody has the same understanding, more or less. Everybody has different priorities maybe, but we need to have the same understanding. How will ICMCI look like in 6 years? And that was the main purpose of this year's face-to-face board meeting. So we very quick came to the agreed on the naming aspirations, because aspiration, it's not a very systematic approach. It's more a brainstorming approach, how to define these aspirations. They are related very much to each other. And the aspirations can be more urgent in terms we need immediate actions, but it can be something that is still an aspiration, but we do not have a very concrete action plan behind it. But it completes the full picture of how we see ICMCI in 6 years. They are not concrete goals in terms of we are having concrete KPIs or concrete action plans for every single aspiration. As I said, the purpose of these different aspirations is just to have a common understanding and to make it easier to prioritize the different activities, to understand the full picture. And out of the full picture, we need to prioritize. We cannot do everything at the same time. I will quickly go through these 13 aspirations. We can discuss in detail, but maybe we do the discussion after I went through these aspirations, and then we might add or explain some background. And it's not any priority. It's just, I don't know how they came up in which order. It's about different views. Well, first is a recognized ICMCI will be recognized in the management consulting ecosystems advocacy, the voice of the profession. It is a little bit like it is now, but we must be much stronger, and we must be much more recognized as the voice of the profession, and must be much more present in the consulting ecosystem. Ecosystem includes clients. It's not only the management consultants, it includes clients, different stakeholders like politics, like other organizations, like associations that are very close to management consulting, but not focused on management consulting. So that is, you might say it's not very new. We're discussing that many times for a long time, but that doesn't mean we did not achieve this position by now as we would like to have it achieved, but that doesn't mean we should skip it. It's still a very important aspiration. Another one is to expand the IQA as an certification body, not only for our IMCs, not only for our members as ICMCI. I think we did a very good progress with the IQA, the Institute Quality Assurance. especially with regards to 17011 and 17024. But there's still some homework to do for us, and we need to be very, very cautious that this IQO is an independent body in ICMCI, but this is to be independent as an accreditation body. That is one of the main prerequisites of 17011. We want, maybe Cesara knows this, but that came not. We discussed that many times, but it's not a contradiction. I don't know, but it's something not Cesaro put on the aspiration list. Developing steps toward regulation and self-regulation. The regulation of our profession is different from country to country. In some countries, it's more regulated, and in my home country, for example, it is regulated by law, and that gives it doesn't sort out every problem of our profession, of course, but it helps us as an association in Austria to be a regulated profession. It opens new discussions and other boxes of discussions. But we think on a long term, we should have this aspiration. And if we never start, it will never happen. But as I said, it is an aspiration. We are missing a community or some that has the culture of a commitment to ICMCI within our membership. Some of our members are very much committed and very much related to ICMCI, and we have a very good communication. For some members, for any reason, we don't know why, this communication is not in a way that we have a very open and straightforward discussion. And we meet once, twice, 3 times a year, whatever the situation allows. And everybody's feeling well, but as soon as we get into the plane, we forget the things that have been agreed, and I think we should do more as ICMCI to foster this culture of belonging and commitment. Now I'm addressing something that is an outcome of the Services Inc. I introduced the slide before. We want to establish, we call it ICMCI Academy. And in 2030, we want to have ICMCI Academy a global relevant training course provider for the management consulting profession, not only, as I said before, only necessarily for management consultants, also for clients, to train, educate clients to buy management consulting services. We want to do that with the Services Inc. So as I said, the market, the main market are the 150 countries where we are not present with a member, and those member institutes who want to use the support from ICMCI Services Inc. to deliver their trainings to their members. We do have some members, the more mature, the bigger members, who have their own business entity within their association, like in Canada or like we do it in Austria. And we do not want to compete them, just to say it clear and repeat it, because this is not, it's not competition within ICMCI. It is a new arm of ICMCI, and we want to approach new member, where we want to approach consultants in any way. And maybe out of that, we will win new members, because once we deliver trainings to them, they might be more familiar with ICMCI, and they find together and they say, why don't we set up an institute? And the next step would be, okay, why don't you become a member institute? This has different backgrounds. It is to be more present in different countries, but also it would allow us to give us a sustainable, robust revenue stream. That's the purpose of one of the purposes of the Services Inc. We need a sustainable, robust revenue stream. For the time being, we do have a revenue stream that is mainly based on the membership fees. We do have a revenue stream on top of that, but we need to raise the non-membership revenues. As the easiest way to ask our members, could you please pay twice or three times as much as you pay now? And we all have the feeling that wouldn't be a good way to make ICMCI resilient. We think we should find our own way to fund our activities, and that means we need a robust revenue stream. We want to have a strong relation with the industry. That's important. In this, we very often use the word profession. The profession includes the industry, but it's not necessarily the industry. The industry, we understand the big 4 or 5 or 6, the big management consulting service provider, the global companies, the global firms. And we feel that the industry is part of the profession. We feel it's not good. It's not a good approach to divide the management consulting profession on the one side and the big firms on the other side. We are not competing. We do have, with some regards, different interests, of course, and we do have different understanding of some values, but in general, we are sitting in the same boat. We want to be available in 80% of the countries. As I said, now we are available in 50 out of 200 countries, which is 25%, very roughly speaking, which is not correct because some of these 200 countries are not very, very high potential membership countries. Unfortunately, we do have parts in the world where management consulting is not developed in a way that we find that is a proper market. But in general, if we say the market, the potential market out of these 200, maybe something like 100 or 150 members, it's still not that ICMCI is present in a sufficient number of countries. And available does not mean membership available. Available means by activities of the Services Inc. or by a relation with an observer status. It's not a full member, it is an observer. They don't have voting rights, but they do want to be part of our community. So that's the goal for the next upcoming 6 years, to be available in these 80% of the countries. We talk so much about activities of ICMCI, and sometimes we forget to talk about CMC. It's in every strategy. The CMC is our core product. The CMC is why ICMCI was founded. And we still have a lot to do to enhance our visibility and the value proposition of CMC. We have been starting this aspiration a couple of years ago, and there's still very much room for improvement. And we will never stop to have to enhance the visibility and the proposition of CMC. Beside the ICMCI Services Inc. revenue stream, we decided to go more in the direction of donor-related strategy. That sounds very easy on first sight. Why don't we approach different donor organizations like European Union, for example? They do have many funding programs. We did already with the United Nations, which is not typically funding, and there are many other organizations. We already collaborate for a long time with the EBRD. But we feel we are not really ready to collaborate on peer level with these international organizations. I think there's a lot of work to do. And the first step is identify who are potential donor organizations and what do we need to do to be able to collaborate with them on peer level, to approach them in a professional manner. And we are not here to beg for some coins. We are here to be a partner on peer level and eye level, and have a good relationship that is founded on a good understanding. Another aspiration is to be recognized by a sufficient number of industries, organizations, or governments. That is always on our agenda. It's not new, but it has to be on the aspiration list of 2030. One of the activities, very, very, very good is one is the Konstantinos. On the other side, there is the NCI. Both activities actually contribute to this aspiration, but we still need to push more, to be more active, to be recognized more in this part of our stakeholders. Something which it actually is not new either, but it's new on our aspiration list. Everybody's talking about sustainability. Everybody's talking about the SDGs. We decided to set up a SDG-related strategy. For the time being, it's two parts. One is, what does it mean for ICMCI to have a strategy in terms of SDGs? So which are the goals that we are committed to, and how do we contribute specifically to these goals? We cannot contribute to 17 SDGs, but we can contribute to 3 or 5 or 6 SDGs. And we want to set up this very quick, because I think it's good if we approach other stakeholders like the United Nations. They are expecting from us to be more active in a sustainable strategy. And by the way, it will be something the IMCs will benefit from, because if ICMCI is contributing to specific SDGs, automatically the IMCs are contributing to them by being member of ICMCI. So it will have the benefit for the IMCs to use these 5, 3, 4, 6 goals to contribute to and use it in their communication. And the second part of the strategy, meaning we need to develop a methodology how management consulting service provider can consult their clients in terms of sustainability. And so we decided to set up a task force, and that is one of the aspirations where we have a very we do have immediate actions, because we want to report on that in our annual conference and the annual meeting. The main topic of the conference is sustainability, so why don't we prepare ICMCI to be more sustainable? And the last aspiration I mentioned already is the ICMCI Services Inc. We want to have ICMCI Services Inc. Contributing a significant impact to the ICMCI revenue stream. It's very much related to sustainable, robust revenue streams, but it's still a different aspiration. And now, as we set the scene with everything what we need to be active on the global level to approach consultants, deliver the services in the full workflow, including payment, which is the most complicated part of the whole game. Now we are in the situation that we can do that, and the next step is to do it, what we can do. So these are the 13 aspirations. Let me list them on one slide, and I put them in relation to the 3 pillars I mentioned already. And as you see in the right column, what are the immediate actions? For some of these aspirations, we didn't define immediate actions. They are on the list and we keep it in mind, but we don't have immediate actions for the time being. And for some of them, we have very concrete actions. Some of them are very short term. And the main 3 is, as I mentioned already, the SDG related strategy. The second is to develop the business plan for the ICMCI Services Inc., including the GI, of course, because the GI is already active in countries where we don't have members. So we have some support from GI, and we can use GI for all the learnings, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Some of the things we already have on the table. And as we say very many times, this agile hubs concept is becoming more and more important, because if you see on the aspirations, I don't know how many of these aspirations are related to strong hubs, to be recognized by a number of industry organizations and governments. It cannot be done only by ICMCI. We need to do that on hub level. The strong relation with the industry, it is necessary to have the hubs, because we do know that the different big players, they are very much related to the regions. Recognized management consulting ecosystem, that is something that is in relation to the hub. So I can go through almost every of these aspirations, and it's so important to have this mid-level between members and global level. If we miss it, yeah, we will miss a lot of the aspirations. Let me skip that. Just a brief overview of other outcome. As I mentioned already, we are working on the MOU with UNIDO. It should be signed in the next weeks. I don't know, maybe months. It takes a little bit time in terms of the administration behind. And we do want to sell it. It will be signed. The director of the United Nations of the UNIDO will sign for UNIDO, and I will sign for ICMCI. And so it's a high-level agreement, and we want to communicate that. UNIDO wants to communicate that, which is good. We want to communicate. So we want to tell the world we are going forward with management consulting. We had a good discussion about our risk management system. The risk management system we established the last year in our face-to-face board meeting in Amman. It's becoming better and better and better. And we need to justify what is the right level of workload. It needs to manage our risk. That's the purpose of a risk management, but it also needs to be administered by our existing resources. If it's too much, we will lose the full system. If it's too less, the risks are not managed in a proper way. And we agreed on this campaign-based marketing strategy. That means that we do define a number of campaigns per year. We define what are the specific timelines for these campaigns. What is the target group? What is the expected outcome? We will communicate that with the member IMCs. So the member IMCs will be able to support this strategy or to complete this strategy. It's different from country to country. If you promote the ICD, for example, or we promote the NCI, it would be good that the member institutes do something that supports the same thing, and it's not contradicting us. So I think to have the most synergies with the different resources we have, it's good that everybody knows what are you doing and how can we support, and not being informed after delivering the campaign. And then you might say, oh, if I knew before, I would have behaved different. A brief overview about the next meetings. One is the ICD, which will be in the setting of the EuroHub. The EuroHub is taking place this June 7th, I guess, and June 6th we will present the International Consulting Index, which will be a virtual presentation, but we do it in Bucharest before the EuroHub.
In Sofia.
In Sofia, I'm sorry. Yeah, right. I'm sure you have it in your diaries already, but for those who want to double check, the annual meeting will take place in October, almost the same days like last year. It's the same week. And the conference will be taking place right after the annual meeting. And well, the topic is, I forgot the exact title. It's about sustainability and management consulting, and how can management consultants support sustainability in companies, and of course, to have the Constantinos International. So very, very brief. I hope you, it wasn't too, I didn't miss too many things, but as I said, we have Nick here, we have Alan here, we have Rima here. So if I forgot something, please add, or if you want to mention something to that. Any questions? We have almost half an hour to discuss. Thank you.
I have nothing to add, Rob. I'm on a fairly sketchy connection, so and I also didn't arrive back from Europe until 1 a.m. this morning, so bear with me. I'm not really on the right time zone yet. But no, I think that was fine. I think that summarised the meeting nicely. If I might just add one comment about the training role of ICMCI, that's a fantastic opportunity to engage with the academic fellows faculty and have them involved in the in training around the globe, really, to help those to build representation and global growth of the industry in those countries where we don't have member IMCs.
Thank you, Alan. And I just want to add that we have the NCI available, and as I said, it will be presented. And I think it's the first time in history that the NCI is more or less ready in time. We cover a lot of countries. We calculate the potential market size for a lot of countries, so it's very much improved. And Alan, who is the liaison to the NCI, did a great work together with Simon. Very much. Yeah, it's still improved. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed the first few minutes of your presentation, Robert. Had another internet glitch, and I don't know whether you mentioned it, but I thought it would be worth just talking a little bit about our white paper, which we're going to publish on International Consultants Day. As a result of really the success of last year's conference on artificial intelligence, we decided that it'd be a good idea to publish a white paper, which would be maybe in the form of a guide for management consultants in artificial intelligence, particularly the ethical aspects as well as the practical use. So we have an editorial team working on that, and coming up to being able to present our first draft. And it's planned to launch the white paper and publish it on International Consultants Day on the 6th of June. And this is not just an initiative that is a one-off. We've made a decision that we really want to do this every year from now on, and publish a white paper on the theme of the previous year's conference. So this year's conference theme is all about sustainability. So next year we would be looking to publish a white paper on sustainability, and particularly with regard to management consultants themselves and how they could help their client in terms of their sustainability performance. So yeah, it's another initiative which we plan will help to get us much more widely known in industry and commerce and government circles.
Nothing to add. Thank you, Nick, for addressing that. I didn't mention, I forgot. You're right. You're right.
There was plenty enough for you to say anyway, Robert. I mean, 13 aspirations takes a bit of explaining.
Yeah. But this is, yeah.
I just want to tell you that in the chat, I included the exact dates of the October events. So please, everyone, just take note of those. And I included the title of the event in full. Okay.
Thank you. But as I said about the promotion of the NCI and the white paper, we will do that together with the ICD. So it will be a paper. It's something like almost 100 pages for the time being, I guess. It's not just some sheets. It's going to be very comprehensive, and use it as an NCI to approach your stakeholders. Anything else?
First of all, let me thank you, Robert, for the great effort you did in defining together with the board members the 13th aspirations. And it will be our commitment in the future as a EuroHub to implement a strategy which could we could move onwards on this 13 path. I believe that all of these aspirations are important to us, so it will be very hard to identify the appropriate priorities, because in my mind, all of them are at the same priority. So it will be a very good exercise in the EuroHub meeting we are planning to have on the beginning of June, the 6th and 7th of June in Sofia. I have a question regarding SDGs. Because we have, as you said, we have the observer status in the United Nations. Maybe it could be useful to attend the annual meetings on the SDGs, the plenary sessions on SDGs status in New York.
Yeah.
We should share.
It's you're right, and we have been discussing that every time when we meet, we need to be more active in having an active relationship with, especially the United Nations. We get a lot of invitations. It is sometimes it's even hard to read the invitation and understand what is it about. And now we have the situation. Well, I think that is one of the main problems, and you are addressing which is a global issue. We need to sort out in any way. This is on a very high political level, and especially those General Assembly, United Nations in New York. There's a president from here, president from there, and they meet and they discuss on a very high political level. But the art of breaking this down to economy, to the business, somebody needs to do, and actually we need to do it. Who else? Then management consultants should be able to break a political declaration down to earth, to business or the economy in general. And being part of the conference means that we have pretty high traveling costs. For the time being, it would take a lot of financial resources from other activities. And the outcome is, well, we are not convinced for the time being that it is worth to spend the money. Although we discuss, the last discussion was about the meeting in Nairobi, I guess, and before that somewhere in Egypt. They do have this, we in this ECOSOC where we are a member, they send it out. And to be active part means that you do it not once. That doesn't have any impact. It's like every organization. You need to be there present for meeting. And after you have been there 10 times, you can be a co-host or a vice facilitator, and then you can have some impact. And for the time being, I think we still have to do some homework before. But Nick, you want to add something?
Yeah. If I could just add a comment. Because I've sat now in a few United Nations meetings, the ECOSOC meetings. That's the group of NGOs to which we belong. And I have to say, my view is that it's all a lot of blah, 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 a lot of talk and no action whatsoever. And it would be more useful for us to find a way, I think, of being able to initiate some proper down-to-earth action, like Robert says. And it may be that we need to just keep attending meetings and saying whatever we can, but in most of these meetings, you don't get an opportunity to say anything. There will be a designated number of speakers. They will give some very high thoughts about what should be happening, and nothing does happen. Now, I think the work we're doing with UNIDO is probably our most useful introduction to getting ourselves known within United Nations as an organization that can actually do something about SDGs rather than just talk about them. And I agree. I mean, to spend a lot of money going to a session where we wouldn't possibly have a chance for an input, and we just listen to a lot of highly political statements, may or may not be the best use of our funding. If we could engineer ourselves to be able to actually present at one of these events, then I think it would be a good thing. But like Robert said, I think we've got a lot of background work to do before we get to that position. And when we make a success of the UNIDO project, then I think we've got something very concrete and positive to take to a plenary session about SDGs.
Yes, thank you, Nick, and Rima and Nick and Jelal. They are contributing a lot of their resources to succeed in the UNIDO project, and we see what does it mean to act on this political level. It's not business level. It's we need to get used to that. Okay, Roshan. Sorry, Cesara. Is that?
No, I mentioned the ECOSOC word because you mentioned SDGs, but there are plenty of opportunities for us as a management consultant in the sustainability reporting. In Europe, for instance, we are involved in the so-called CSRD directive, and we should see if we can be entitled, recognized as for instance, auditors of this kind of project. So it's not SDGs, that is sustainability reporting, or another huge field is ESGs, economic and sustainable goals. So governance, sorry. So it's a different view of sustainability, maybe more closer to something in concrete for us.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The methodology, the consulting methodology, needs to be the umbrella for all activities in terms of sustainability. That includes ESG, includes SDGs. That's one part, and the other part, we as ICMCI to commit to specific goals of the SDGs is something we should do because we want to be more related to organizations like United Nations. And I think that would be it would be appropriate for us. But these are two different things. Both will be discussed in the task force, and actually I'm expecting you to be part of the task force, Cesara. But we will send out in the next couple of weeks. It's yeah. I'm Roshan, you raised your
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. So just I want to go back to the aspirations, and I see that some of the points of aspirations are directly related to national institutes. It's not just activities of ICMCI. So would there be a directive or instruction how can how all institutions, national institutes have to go so that they can align with the ICMCI philosophy or let's say vision? So that is my question. Because and when can we start? Yeah, of course we had to start yesterday. Anyway, let's start when we start and how we start and how we go, all these things here. Just in brief, please.
Well, that will be related to the different activities. The aspirations, as I said, it's just an umbrella to have a common view on the on ICMCI. How will it look like in 2030? I very much like your approach of having directives and instructions. On first guess, on second guess, I think, well, we can ask the IMCs, the member institutes, to support it. And everything we do is always related, and the board members will confirm. I always ask, what does it mean for the IMCs? What's the benefit for the IMCs? Why should they support? And with regards to the different activities, there will be different parts of the IMCs. I think most of the maybe all of them, I don't know, I didn't double check, but could be used by the IMC directly. It's not something that is on a very high global level that has nothing to do with an IMC or with the country. As I said, the NCI is something we do on global level. Take it, use it, approach your stakeholders with the specific version for every country we provide. The campaigns, the marketing campaigns, they are delivered. We deliver on a global level, but we cannot deliver to your members. We don't speak your language. We don't know your members. We don't even know the culture and how you communicate with your members. Now, if we would send it directly to your members, they would be confused. They might ask, yesterday you sent me this and today you're sending me something else that maybe even contradicts. Even if it tells the same, they are asking, why are you sending me the same thing in 2 days? So this is why we provide the content, we provide the idea, or we provide the background, but the doing and approaching your members, it's IMC's business. It's not our business. As I said, it's starting with the language and ends up with the culture and different time zones and more important, different political stakeholders, different situations of how approaching client organizations and so on and so forth. But we always inform. If you feel we don't inform in the way that it is appropriate for you, do we inform too late or too early, or is it not detailed enough, or whatever? Please let us know. We would love to have more feedback from our members. That is this aspiration in terms of joint community.
Thank you. So let's say we would like to be recognized by sufficient number of industries, organizations, all these things here. This, of course, this directly relates to a nation, yeah, national
Right.
institute and national consultants, and they do this thing. Yeah, this is the task of National Institute. So, of course, recently we had discussed here in Russia also about this factor. So we need to go to different universities and industry, and we have to be present there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Russia is doing that thing, but we had put our very strategic in our strategy. We had put this thing. Yeah. So
very good. Very good.
Yeah. So some of the points here I have noted here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here out of 11. It is directly, yes, related to national institutes. Yeah, we have to do. And always there is, if there is framework, then it works much better. Yeah, that's why I'm asking that question. Maybe directive is not the proper word I have used, but I wanted to say that framework. Yeah, like our,
Yeah.
yeah, that framework for all nations, all national institutes. That let's put goal that how we go, and but we don't know. Yeah, target or goal. I don't know. A target maybe 5 industries that we need to be present there, or that kind of framework.
Yes. Yeah. It's thank you for that. I think it might be more in terms of workshops or trainings or discussions. We did that in the annual meeting in Amman the last year, and the outcome was excellent, I think. And we need to do that more and more and more and often, because if you go home from the annual meeting with a list of 3 actions that are concrete enough to do them, that is what we want to achieve. You don't need to go home with 100 activities that you cannot deliver because you don't have the resources. We don't have the resource, but you need to have the 3 top activities and understand how can we complete that from IMC's view. So that's I think every global organization has the same issue. If you're a Coca-Cola manager, you're doing the same because if one country promotes the sugar-free Coca-Cola and the other one promotes the original Coke or whatever, and they're doing different things. Yeah, but we are not a business. We are an association.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Namrod.
Unmute. Sorry. Yeah, I think it's a very good listing, which helps, I think, IMCs to maybe also look at their strategies and see how they can synchronize, including some aspects that maybe IMCs might not have thought about. So I think it's a very useful listing. My second point is in terms of UNIDO. I know we had a lot of discussion on this last time. The reason I'm asking is because I'm sure there are a number of others as well, that we're in the process of consultation with a number of business associations, which includes UN. And we've got a listing of all the UN agencies. We put that on hold because we knew you were working something on this. And I think it would be useful. I don't know, once the MOU has been done, I don't know how are you going to communicate that to the IMCs, or do we have to approach you directly? I think it would be very useful, so that at least we will adopt what has been agreed, rather than going at a tangent. In terms of the discussions that we are going to have, with the UN agencies that are in the region.
But the basic agreement is an umbrella MOU,
Yes.
which and under this umbrella we will have concrete agreements for specific projects.
Mm.
Now this specific project now is the Ghana as a pilot for the agriculture business, and what needs to be done and how do we identify the gaps and how to set up the trainings and the certification process and so on. And the next project might be somewhere else. We don't know yet, but they have political priorities and they need to succeed, and we support them. And the MOU is more a general common understanding of how does the collaboration look like. Mm-hmm. By the way, both the MOU specifically, the MOU does not talk about commercial terms in a way, so who is charging what or whatever. The whole project is as part of United Nations and UN recognized NGO, we collaborate on an NGO perspective with UNIDO, it's not a money printing machine for ICMCI. We are happy to have some costs covered, and that's fine. And this is what they can do. It's not a commercial big deal. It is a big deal in terms of demonstrating our position and collaborating on a global level. But as I said, the MOU is the umbrella, and the specific projects. They raised some projects like, how can you support us in terms of sustainability? That was just addressed by them, but it's not. We don't have it listed now. I don't know. Did I say it right, Rima? Do you need to? Good.
Yeah, because the
She's
setup
the
we
chief
have,
negotiator. I'm only.
you know, the setup that is there is that each country has got a head of all the NGOs. So if in our case, if we are going to approach, we will not go to the individual UN agencies, who go to the controlling head. And this is why I was asking that question, to say, you know, I think, you know, it would be useful, I think, to see, you know, some of the, you know, discussions that has worked already, since you've done a pilot on it, so that we don't go at a tangent, but we try to follow maybe the same process, you know, or maybe the same.
Maybe let me add something. I'm very sorry to forget. The Ghana project is to set up the training and the certification. We do not deliver the trainings to the consultants. It's a train the trainer program, and their consultants, their chief consultants or whoever will do the training. And that's all about the MOU. The MOU is set up in a way that we collaborate on global level. We are not the chief trainers or the chief consultants or whatever. They are always seeking for local collaboration. In Ghana, we don't have a member institute. If we would have a member institute in Ghana, we would be connected with them more directly, and we want to win Ghana as a member institute. That's one of our background purposes, and we are convinced if we set up the community, they will become member in ICMCI. But the next step is to train the trainers for this for the whole thing. And that's all about in the MOU. As I said, it's not that ICMCI is doing that job on site. It's ICMCI is providing knowledge, the competence framework, and is training the trainer. And that will be the same everywhere. As I said, it's still a language issue, because some speak French. French is a very rare spoken language in ICMCI, and I don't. We might have some trainers from Canada who would be able in terms of language, but I don't think that would be the right approach. It needs to be built up on site, the know-how. Okay. Unfortunately, the time is over. I hope I gave you some insights and some backgrounds. I hope you can spend, I don't know, where you the rest of the day or going to bed, whatever, with some thoughts about ICMCI and what does it mean for your institute. And if you feel there's anything we need to discuss or whatever, just raise your hand and we will do. Thank you very much for joining. Have a nice rest of the day.